He is well known across 3 continents, yet no one has discovered the real man.
Do you have a life motto?
Yeah.
What is it?
Born alone, die alone.
That's dark.
Is Idris Elba really so self-assured, or is he actually capable of doing anything?
I'm Idris Elba!
Today, we're gonna figure that out. Let's go!
Man a king in a trap, oh Larry, man a big DJ, Ox, Megan and Harry.
Damn, nice flow! Movie star Idris Elba is fast approaching his 50s, but still hasn't abandoned his objective of becoming a hip-hop star. For that, he's got everything: talent, money, posh cars, his own record label, and a beautiful wife who's 16 years younger than him. And where would he be without a rapper's modesty?
Took a flick with your girl and your mum. And your sister and your auntie, cause I can.
Elba's net worth is estimated to be more than $30 million, which is why he can easily opt out of starring in movies and make music instead.
I challenge you to a dance-off. Hands off, no trash talk, no backwalk. On the black top.
Actually, being quite an experienced DJ, he has played sets at Tomorrowland and Coachella.
I make the girls go wild. I shut the whole club down. I make the loudest sound. Tell them you need my crown.
Can you imagine the royal family members dancing to his remixes? Well, that was this DJ's present to his old friend Prince Harry and the Duchess Meghan Markle.
I played some Dr. Dre.
Really?
Where?
You played, was it censored or were all the words in there?
Full fat.
Full Dr. Dre, no
100%.
kidding around.
Today, it's hard to believe that the officer of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire and the Golden Globe Award winner was once a quiet and closed-off kid who was born into a family of African immigrants and attended a primary school for those with disabilities.
My parents were quite strict, so, I sort of lived within my parameters.
His overprotective parents, Winston Elba, a Sierra Leonean Creole man, and Eve, a Ghanaian woman, fled a life of poverty and settled in London in the beginning of the 1970s, just a couple of years before the birth of their only son. They insisted that Idris attend a special needs school simply because he had asthma. I was asthmatic, but was fine as long as I wasn't running around. And here I was at this amazing school that was full of kids with very severe disabilities and kids who were just straight up bad, and I was chucked in the middle of that. He was taught to stay out of trouble and always be well-mannered, though since Elba was raised in Hackney, a district in East London where bullying was happening on every corner, he had a hard time understanding what being well-mannered actually meant. When his family moved from a little apartment to a house in Canning Town, the boy who went to middle school at the time had to grow up pretty fast.
At 13 years old, I bought a car from the loot for 50 quid.
Hold it, when you were 13?
Yeah.
But you're saying that as if that's a... Never mind how old you look.
You'd get me in trouble.
Well, no, you're getting yourself in trouble by saying it as if it's the most normal thing in the world.
Well, it was to me, I guess.
Preferring to tell funny stories on the TV, Elba keeps quiet about how traumatizing it was to grow up in a neighborhood which was not friendly to black people, becoming an instant target at his new school. His full name Idrissa was made fun of for resembling the girl's name Melissa, so he decided to change it to the name we all know him by now, Idris. Still, fights and harassment were part of his everyday life. Everyone was like, "What are you doing here, you black bastard?" Even then, regardless of his asthma, Elba was a tough and tall guy who could stand up for himself. He trained hard and even earned the title of second best runner in the district. Though he did not care much about studying, Elba got something special from his very hated school.
I was in love with my drama teacher at the time, Miss McPhee, and I was really sort of focusing in on acting. And I thought I could do it.
That is where he got into acting and loved it, so he enrolled into a college for the performing arts. Elba spent his days rehearsing on the stage, and at night, he helped his father working at the Ford factory.
In fact, Ford Dagenham had more opportunity and diversity than the TV industry I was trying to break into. True.
But then, his first major breakthrough happened when he received a grant from the Prince's Trust to be able to study in the National Youth Music Theatre, a charity fund that helps at-risk youth. Nowadays, Elba's fans still joke that this 1,500 pounds was Prince Charles' best investment to date. Another guy Elba should thank is his uncle, who he helped with his wedding DJ business when Idris was just 14. In just a year, together with his friends, Elba created his own DJ company.
Here is Idris holding a record. In fact, when Idris was a teenager, he'll be upstairs playing his music. His dad is downstairs banging the music. The phone is ringing and all the girls are asking for Idris.
And later, to make his dream of becoming a radio DJ come true, Idris started a music program on his own pirate radio station.
Climax FM.
Climax FM?
Yeah.
Would you be in a van or something? What would?
No. We used to be in a little tower block in it's North London.
Let's just say police visits to the Elba house became the new norm, but he was fearless. At that time, he learned to function without sleep for several days on end, since combining casting, studying, night shifts at the Ford factory, and DJing was not easy, but it was super fun.
Dad has always encouraged me with music.
Elba's father wanted him to have a stable job, so out of respect for his dad, he endured the factory shifts, until one night, his patience ran out. The next day, I was in New York for the first time. I'm gonna act. The wide-eyed Elba only lasted a week stateside before he came back to the parental home. This time, he promised to find a stable source of income and get married, and he has achieved both of those objectives. By 26, he spent days and nights shooting on set and at nightclubs. He found a wife and even bought a house and a Range Rover. Nevertheless, he did have to sell everything he owned to finally conquer the United States.
So I got to a certain point in my career where I saw the glass ceiling. I realized that I could only play so many best friends or gang leaders, all right? I knew that I wasn't gonna land a leading role.
In search of more leading roles, he headed back to New York City, this time accompanied by his wife and some savings in his pocket. Everything they had was only enough to last for a year, but the epic career he was counting on didn't happen. It turns out it was his British accent that was getting in the way, so he began to study the American dialect at a local barbershop.
What's a phrase that you picked up in the barbershop?
Come on, man!
It worked, but he didn't get paid for that. For several years, Idris had been traveling between London and Brooklyn. He worked wherever he could earn money, but his visa only allowed him to take acting jobs, so he had to take risks.
I made some great contacts, by which I mean I sold weed. I'm not proud of it, it's just a fact.
All of this led to his marriage with Hannah falling apart while she was pregnant with their first child. After Hannah kicked Elba out, for the next 6 weeks he lived in a trailer. He had auditions during the day and led a vivid nightlife in Manhattan. It is symbolic that on the day his daughter was born, he landed the role that would change his whole life. Already being more than familiar with drug dealers from working in nightclubs, he got the role of drug lord Russell Stringer Bell in the highly acclaimed drama series The Wire. His newfound American accent was so natural that when the team found out he was actually British, they were taken aback. Elba got into Stringer's character fully. He even smoked weed with his partner, Woods Harris, between takes during the shoot. The series took over the world, with even the former US President Barack Obama becoming a huge fan of it.
President Obama at the time was telling me that I was his second favorite character in The Wire.
Oh. Finally, people followed him on the streets, not to assault him, but to get his autograph. Elba was inundated with scripts from directors trying to get him to play gangsters in their movies, but he decided to try and avoid being typecast. Priests, military officers, and businessmen. These were the roles through which Elba tried to dismantle stereotypes about black people on the screen. In Obsessed, he played the husband of his idol Beyoncé and became friends with her real husband, Jay-Z. In 2007, Idris recorded the intro track for his rap album.
Your gangster is not defined by how low your jeans fall by your waist, but more how your jeans stand over its expectations.
Everyone was amazed at Elba's incredible ability to network and become friends with each and every person he met, with his charisma working especially well on the ladies. Since his London times, Idris has been called a ladies' man, but getting closer to his 40s, he started seriously thinking about the importance of having a real family.
Being witness to the birth of my children, happy and healthy, is the biggest, most best thing ever.
His love life at that period did resemble a soap opera, sadly one without a happy ending too. For several years, he had been dating a girl named Desiree. This was a seemingly happy relationship. She even gave birth to their son, with the proud father announcing the news to the media. But just a couple of months later, he had doubts about whether he was the real father, and a DNA test confirmed the child wasn't his. To be given that and then have it taken away so harshly was like taking a full-on punch to the face. I've not been an angel in my life either. Do you know what I'm saying? So to a certain extent, what goes around comes around. Enraged, Idris channeled all his anger when playing his second iconic role in the TV series Luther.
Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out!
Luther was the first British police show where a black actor played the main character. Aside from the new popularity wave, this series helped Elba win both the Screen Actors Guild Award and a Golden Globe.
This is for the fans. I just want to say to the fans, I have the most loyal fans in the world, and I thank you all over the world. I appreciate it.
Then 2013 brought on a whole new level of success, and it was not because he appeared in Thor or Pacific Rim, which he beat out Tom Cruise for, but the most important role of his career came around playing Nelson Mandela. To portray the South African leader was a very honorable experience, and Elba diligently prepared for the role. He even asked to stay inside Mandela's prison cell, where the president had spent 27 years.
That first night, the one and only night I stayed there, it's haunted. I was definitely visited by spirits, no doubt.
Unfortunately, Idris had no chance to meet his character personally. That is why his father, Winston, served as a prototype for him.
My dad is a bit like that, loves to make a speech and, ladies and gentlemen, and that's him.
This movie will forever be deeply personal for Idris, since it was the last movie his father got to see before his death several days later.
It's weird how it's affected me massively, and all while I'm doing the greatest moment of my life. It just seems unfair.
The actor managed to delight his father with the news that they were expecting a baby with his second wife, but Winston didn't live to see the grandchild.
My dad dying and my son being born, right? It's just like, that's full circle. You know what I mean? This is what we're here for.
2 days after the funeral, Elba went to introduce the movie at Mandela's homeland, South Africa. This extremely stressful time manifested itself, and an old ailment made itself known again. Idris had a serious asthma attack and had to be taken off the plane. However, for the memory of his father, he continued to promote the movie.
He loved music and loved movies, loved great actors, and here I am doing all of that for him.
He created a documentary in his honor and even recorded an album featuring local African musicians.
A day before Spook told me about this project, he gave me a call. They want you involved in Mandela's project. I was like, what?
The long-awaited son also inherited his grandfather's name.
Because when I see my son, I just laugh because I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's my rebirth. You know what I'm saying? I love it.
After 40, being so successful and having experienced so many twists of fate, it seems Elba would lower his ambition, yet he continued setting new goals and taking on new challenges.
The key to ambition is to have strategy. Ambition without strategy is like a condom with no penis. It's useless.
He managed to become a blockbuster star, playing a literal god in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with other main roles in The Dark Tower, Suicide Squad, and the Fast and the Furious franchise.
I'm Black Superman.
There were even many rumors that Elba might become the new James Bond.
DC and Marvel, cause I can. Black James Bond ain't part of the plan. Make loot for the movie, cause I can.
The actor is pretty indifferent to the expectations though. What actually gets him off is Speed. Idris Elba, King of Speed, is a documentary series in which he makes his childhood dreams come true through driving race cars. And fast driving was not a mere hobby. In 2015, he broke the 90-year-old land speed record of Great Britain in a Bentley.
180.3.
At 44, he accepted another personal challenge. He decided to become a professional kickboxer in just 12 months.
20 kicks, non-stop, go, come on, you got this, 1, 2, 3, come on, 4, 5,
6, push it, 7, come on, 8, 9.
Of course, this resulted in another documentary by the BBC. Back in the day, when Elba started in London, boxing helped him stay tough and maintain a strong spirit. So this time, he set the goal of winning in the ring against a professional boxer, and he succeeded in this too.
And the crowd go wild as his professional debut ends with a KO win for Idris Elba. He holds his arms aloft.
Several years later, he did want to come back to the boxing ring, but his third wife, Sabrina, together with his mom, talked him right out of that idea. So instead, he became a mentor in a new reality show, Elba's Fight School, where he teaches young participants what discipline, concentration, and commitment is.
Through dedication to something that is outside of your wheelhouse, you can definitely progress in your life.
His example is truly inspiring. There is no doubt his life will become the subject of many film adaptations in the future. To satisfy this amount of ambition, most people would have to spend more than their whole life, but Elba rebels against conformity and wants to be good at everything, whether that happens to be in the movie, music, sport, or business industries. And on top of all that, Idris raises 2 children who live separately but still love their father very much.
I have to give him props for this one. I'm actually really proud of him for this one.
What? Thank you. Is he?
And it appears his grown daughter has also discovered the true motive behind her dad's grand ambition.
Well, she just thinks I'm trying to be cool all the time. I'm like, I am cool.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. You are cool.
Share in the comments if you believe Idris Elba is badass enough, or do you think he still needs to work on that?